We actually met at a bar, and then he told me how old he was, and I was like, you're too young.
I just graduated college. She wasn't really focused or interested in me, you know? So that was intriguing.
And then here we are. He was a great stepdad, but we wanted to have a baby together.
I was already coming into the relationship needing to be that father role, but I definitely knew I wanted to have a child with her.
We got married and we started trying almost right away.
That's when we figured out, all right, so like, we're doing this enough to something to happen. Something's not occurring, you know?
I went to the doctor and they were like, oh, you know, once you get off birth control, you just keep trying and you'll be fine and there's nothing to worry about. But I just had a feeling that something else was wrong. So I went to another doctor. I ended up having to get an MRI on my brain, and it turned out that I had a prolactinoma. It was, you know, triggering all these other reproductive hormonal issues. So from there, went to a different fertility provider. We actually had a horrible experience. She wasn't very warm to our struggles, so we looked on Google for someone else.
Being Black and going through this type of care felt scarce, and it felt like we were kind of going through it alone.
Although I know I'm not the only person of color who has, you know, gone through this. You don't see anyone that looks like you in the office, period. You don't see anyone that looks like you on the walls. You don't see anyone that looks like you in the waiting room. Even when I YouTube certain things, you don't even really see people that look like me sharing their YouTube experience. Going into conceptions for the first time, it was nerve-wracking and exciting too, because you're hoping that the experience is going to be different, but you're also cautious that it could be the same.
But it was great, warming. I felt a sense of comfort, reassurance.
When I had that conversation with Dr. O'Shaughnessy and I was there with my husband and she was kind of walking us through the process, it was like, you're going to have a baby. I just felt like she knew what she was saying and she knew how to help. We were going to start the IUI process where they were just going to take the sperm and start it near the egg. However, right before that process started, I ended up having an ectopic pregnancy. It was, at the time, devastating because it was like, okay, I worked all this time to finally get my levels under control, and then my body did what it was supposed to do naturally without any intervention.
I found myself kind of like minimizing my hard times because I can only imagine what her hard times were at this moment, you know? That's the whole thing with marriage or being in a relationship. It's like you not only compromising finances, space, but you're compromising feelings too.
After that, I met with Dr. O'Shaughnessy again and she said, you know, we should just do IVF. Let's just go straight there. We named her journey because of our journey.
I'm happy for her being here. She brings me joy every day. My son brings me joy every day too, but you know, I didn't get to experience my son as a baby. This is Whitney's second time, so for me, it just feels like a bundle of emotions every day. I think communication is huge within the Black community. We should talk more in our families, with our friends, and just representation like this. So that helps amongst the community inner circle.